name of that guy that gave me?
Call the Ascension Parish Council meeting of September 7th to order. The parish president is going to lead us in prayer, and everyone following the Pledge of Allegiance.
Heavenly Father, we give thee thanks for thy many blessings we enjoy in this great nation. For those who have gone before us, who have established the opportunities that we enjoy today, we're grateful. We pray for those who are still in harm's way defending freedom and helping others to receive the blessings of liberty and freedom in their lives. We pray for the success of our efforts. Pray for thy protection to be with all those who serve. We thank you for the many blessings that we enjoy in Ascension Parish, and pray that as we seek to do the will of the people, we'll be doing thy will at the same time and be able to help meet the needs of our citizens so that our parish can become what it needs to become. We acknowledge thy hand in all of our blessings, and we thank thee for them. We ask thy special blessings upon those members of our parish who have special needs. We ask thy Spirit to direct us tonight as we deliberate the business of the parish. In Jesus' name, amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Number 2, Mrs. Susanna, roll call. Councilman Shea Snyder, Councilman Thompson, and Councilman McConnell is absent tonight. Chair's addition. There is one chair's addition that was requested by Councilman Valentine.
Yeah, excuse me, Chairman Savoy. We had a personnel meeting, and we do have some appointments that we need to make tonight, which we did not get in a timely fashion and on the agenda tonight. So I would request that a 2/3 addition to the agenda item under number 8. The appointments to boards and commission include an appointment for the Tourist Commission, an appointment to the Zoning Board of Adjustments and Appeals, and an appointment to the Industrial Development Board.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Byriga, second by Mr. Todd Lambert to add 3 items under the Personnel Committee report. Is there any question? Is there any opposition? Having none, motion passes. We're going to have Tourist as B, Zoning Board as C, and Industrial Board as D. All right. That's all we have on additions. Presentations. There is Mr. Dennis Davin was not able to attend tonight for his recognition. We're going to send this to the Transportation Committee to offer that to Mr. Babin. A couple of housekeeping issues. There's been a couple of handouts that have been given to you. One of them is agenda item number 21, agenda item number 8 and 21. And legal, Mr. Babin handed one out here. He stated that the ordinance, the personnel manual ordinance in his packet that he got from the parish is one of the old ones, so he drafted the new one and he handed it out. So the one that you got handed out is the new version. So you want to put that? All right, number 5, Parish President report. Mr. Hughes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good evening, members of the council and First thing we're going to do tonight, this is the season when West Nile is becoming an issue again. Thankfully, it's been less cases than in the past, some, but we have had 5 cases in our citizens lately. And so I've asked Mr. David Matassa, who is our director of our mosquito control and abatement program. David's going to give us a brief report on what they're doing, so all of you can be up to date on that. I also sent you something, I think, last night or today from Mr. Chuck Methven of the Department of Health and Hospitals on the 2 most recent cases involving our citizens with some of these mosquito-borne illnesses. So, David.
Thank you, Mr. President. Chairman Savoy, ladies and gentlemen, Council. This is the most current report involving the West Nile virus in our parish. Currently, we have 7 human cases, 3 neuroinvasive, which means swelling of the brain. The rest is West Nile fever, which can possibly go into neuroinvasive, which is swelling of the brain. We have chicken surveillance program, which I'm sure you're familiar with, 13 locations throughout the parish. Currently, we have 6 positives on the chicken locations for West Nile virus. And we have 1 horse in the parish, which is West Nile virus also. Within the last few years, this virus has been actually originated in Africa in 1937, had an epidemic in Europe in the 50s, and in 1999, we all know what happened in New York City. West Nile virus was found in New York City, and then through bird migration, 2 years, it came towards Louisiana, now it's throughout the country. Anyway, Mother Nature implants this. It's a bird virus. The mosquitoes feed on the birds, and then it transmits to humans. Currently, we've beefed up our program to best of our ability according to our budget and our resources. We sprayed as much as possible in our area because at the ratio of our population, 7 human cases is fairly high in the state of Louisiana. So we don't mean to alarm people, but it's very important that they be aware that a mosquito bite can actually kill you. I mean, it could give you inflammation in the brain, a West Nile virus, and you could actually die from it. So it's no longer the problem of a nuisance as we were young in the old days, let's just say that, where you went to the drive-ins and picnics and it was a mosquito bite. Now that you know that your kids, elderly people with immune systems that are weak, can actually get very sick and die from a mosquito bite. So this apparently is a peak time right now for some reason. Research is showing that. So we want our citizens to beware, and when they go out to areas to wear repellent, or if they need help with mosquito control, to call our office. It's 24-hour voicemail. We'll get that to you as soon as possible and help our citizens. And just be aware of the situation that's going on around you right now with mosquitoes. This West Nile virus is something here to stay. For instance, dengue fever, yellow fever, y'all familiar with that? Years ago, way back when, the Panama Canal Zone and all this. There's 3 phases of dengue fever in Texas right now for some reason. And Mother Nature controls this, so is it going to come towards Louisiana? I don't have the slightest, but it's possible. And it could be transmitted through mosquito bites. So again, the program itself is doing every possible thing we could, according to what we have to work with, manpower, and budget for its finances. Is there any questions?
Question, Chairman.
Mr. Meekin.
What's the spray rotation?
The spray rotation is that we have 1 truck that sprays for the West Bank and 3 trucks for the East Bank. And because of our major expansion that took place in the last few years, which we all know about, for instance, the West Bank would be a fine example of, at one time there was a West Bank driver that sprayed the West Bank, which was Lemonville and the city of Dallasville and Modesto area. But now, because of the expansion, and our department never actually expanded, the West Bank driver takes care of those areas. Then he comes across to spray Sorrento, Darrow, Harryville, Pecan Grove, and that's the same West Bank driver. The same thing happens to other districts that drivers are in the Prairieville and the Sanamo area. I mean, we got 21 new subdivisions from last year just alone, so we go out as a service and spray subdivisions, which is adult spray trucks at night. And as long as our program doesn't expand and the parish expands, we're going as thin as possible, and we need to expand. So that's the rotation.
Do we have any plans for expansion?
Well,
I'm sorry.
the main plans would be finances. You know, it would have to be a plan for finances, and that would be up to the council. They're willing to possibly one day consider a millage of some type. Right now, we're funded through the Health Unit Fund, and the last budget meetings I've been to, it's been fairly depleted as far as the money wise. The animal shelter is also funded through the Health Unit. Most of your programs in the state of Louisiana are self-funded. There's millages, there's sales tax, there's different procedures to do that. And eventually, Ascension Parish is going to have to look and consider a strong asset of a millage or some type of funding to improve the department and expand the department, because the parish is and people deserve it.
You said that we have the highest rate.
One of the highest rates per capita, per ratio of population in the state of Louisiana, with 7 right now. Currently, we are very high in the state of Louisiana per capita ratio with the population.
How far are we into the season? How much time is left?
Well, Dr. Rittard, the French entomologist, for the state of Louisiana, claims that through research, and there's only 5 years of research so far in the United States, so it's not a lot of research. Statistically speaking, they're figuring out this research is peak time right now. That's all it is, because for instance, we have 7 cases. Last year, Livingston Parish had 11 cases. This year, they have 1 so far. Okay. Last year, we had 3. The year with 2002, when the state of Louisiana was under a state of emergency, I don't know if you recall that, we had 14 human cases, 6 neuroinvasive, which is spread under the brain. And statistically speaking, there's quite a few people in this parish, elsewhere, anywhere in the country, walking around West Nile virus and not aware of it. And eventually it'll wear off, and it'll just have chills and fever and go away. But one thing's for sure, so far through research, is that once you do have West Nile virus, you will permanently have some type of disability, from maybe mild headaches for the rest of your life, or some type of disability maybe further down the road. That's what research is showing. Now they take blood work, they screen the blood work for West Nile virus. If you give blood, you notice that. So it's here to stay. It's one of the diseases transmitted, like I said, mosquitoes, which is a bird virus, naturally born. And there's others on the horizon, which are going to be transmitted by mosquitoes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Dempsey Lambert.
Mr. Lambert?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mataz. The aerial spraying on the rotation on that, and how effective is it?
The aerial spraying in the parish was only used once during the state of emergency at East Baton Rouge Parish. Every year we renew the contract in case we do need to use that plane. The contract's available and ready. During last year, the storm situation with the hurricanes, I was involved with the distribution center in the Winn-Dixie building, and we were really working. Everybody was going over, with the situation in Louisiana, especially South Louisiana. Anyway, I got a phone call from DHH involving a situation. If we meet a certain criteria, we get some C-130 Air Force planes to fly over. For anybody's information, it wasn't just a phone call saying, David, do you want Ascension Parish spraying with some Air Force planes? No, it wasn't like that. It had to be a certain criteria which met certain kind of reports, landing rate counts of mosquitoes in certain numbers, and there was only 5 parishes in the state of Louisiana that got approved. We met that criteria, and we got approved with the C-130s, and that's how that happened. Matter of fact, they were going to spray the West Bank the next day, but they had to get back to Pensacola because they had Hurricane Rita on its way. So that's the only 2 times that we actually, in the history of this parish, was sprayed with aerial. But we do have an existing contract that's available at any time. The West Bank, 50 square miles basically. The East Bank is 250 square miles basically. When they spray for aerial spraying, it's called application. It takes about 45 minutes. And let's just say it like this. It would take 4 applications to spray the parish entirely. 1 for the West Bank and 3 for the East Bank. That's aerial spraying.
You mentioned that you beefed up. Are you going to be able to handle this, or are we going to need to get the aerial back in here?
Currently, I feel like unless it really gets to the point where we feel like we really need to use aerial spraying, which is a quick kill. At the moment, I don't think we're at that point. I mean, who's to say what's going to happen in the next few days or weeks? But we do have the contract available, and it could be pretty rapid as far as once it's approved by the council or the parish president, state of emergency or not. But again, like I said, the aerial spray contract could be used at any time. And every year we do renew it, but it was only once during the state of emergency in 2002 that we did use it. And it is a quick kill. When I say quick kill, mosquitoes have to have water to breathe. And let's just say we use aerial spraying or the spray trucks at night. Without the combination of larvicide, which is down Parish's ditches, which is quite a few ditches in this parish, you have a 24-hour continuous breathing process, you see. So when I say the parish growing and things like that, and the program being small and strained, we limited what we could do also. And so instead of having just a few guys that could go out and do some personal requests on people's properties, we also need some people to get more back in gear larvicide, which is, like I said, the last few years, how the parish, the parish has just really expanded so rapidly. It's hard to keep up. That's what I'm saying.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Mr. Barber, you had a question?
I want to talk about area also.
All right. Ms. Fontenot.
I just would be interested in, let's not wait too late if we need the aerial, because, even one case, we were threatened several weeks ago in my own family with one of my sons. The doctors thought he had West Nile, and we know we have West Nile on our property because you had test chickens several years ago out there, and they both were positive. So I would just be, concerned that we really be proactive in this. One life to that family means everything.
I'm more or less daily in contact with DHH. That's who's about a lot of help, Department of Health. That's who actually regulates our department. And I'm in touch with our big brother, East Baton Rouge Parish, on a regular basis also. And they also feel like we're not at the panic point as far, but we do have a high ratio of that number. I would have to say, to be perfectly honest with you, that if the number continues to climb, I would recommend that, yes, we do use aerial spray.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Todd Lambert.
Yeah, Dave, I had a co-worker with West Nile, and it's serious. He probably come pretty close to dying. And I think we need to look at a property tax to fund this, to beef it up, because it's not going away, like you say. So we need to start considering it, funding to beef up our mosquito control. He stayed probably in the hospital a week, and he's back at work, but he's not 100%. He had the one that affected the brain. So it was serious, very serious.
It is very serious,
Yeah.
and it's to an extent, it's pretty, not to say the word naive, but like I said, it wasn't too long ago you had drive-in theaters as a kid with these little Bics out the window because it's just a nuisance. Now we know that it's more than just a nuisance. Yeah,
it is.
You're right. And there's more on the horizon, and our parish is expanding, and we're a first-class parish, and eventually we need to expand into a first-class operation, which would involve possibly one day our own plane. Most probably, I would predict that.
So I'd like to ask this board to start thinking about ways of financing this mosquito abatement a little bit stronger so we can protect our people. Thank you.
Mr. Hillensbeck.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm in favor of us going ahead and doing the aerial spraying now. We're already one of the highest parishes in the state, and we've got these number of cases. I don't think we need to keep waiting. I think we need to, Mr. President, find the money. Mr. Council, let's go ahead and let's get this done. We've still got plenty of warm weather between now and when cool weather gets here, and we're still in the middle of hurricane season. I think we ought to be proactive, and let's go ahead and do this now. 11 cases, that's a lot of cases when you're talking.
Right now,
well, 7,
yeah,
but you're talking about the horse and the,
well, like I said, we're small and modified.
Right.
We have an excellent reputation. In the per capita, we're #1 program in the state of Louisiana.
Right.
Like I said, we're all modified and we're limited. Hey, I would love to just say, come on over and spray.
Well, I'm in favor. Let's go ahead and let's go ahead and execute the contract and let's spray. I'm in favor of that.
Mr. Todd Lambert.
Yeah, and I'd like to commend the department because, if anybody calls and needing to be sprayed, if they have a area that's infested with, they're going to be out there. That's one thing we got to give them. For what they have, they're doing an excellent job. I want to commend David and his staff.
Thank you. Gentlemen, if you like, I get the finance numbers pretty well grasped down. What happens is when you use aerial spraying, it's called a ferry flight to come over and review the area. And the money fluctuates a little bit, but I can get it pinpointed.
Do you have an estimate, Mr. Mattias, about what we're talking about?
I would have to estimate anywhere from 20 to 30,000.
I make that motion tonight.
2nd.
Make that motion tonight, Mr. Chairman.
Finance opinion.
Or do we need to put it on the agenda to vote up? I make a motion to put it on the agenda.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Hillensbeck, second by Ms. Fontenot to add,
No, Ms. Stroud.
I'm sorry, Ms. Stroud, to add by 2/3 agenda item dealing with the possibility of aerial spraying. Any discussion?
Yeah, discussion first.
Mr. Valentine?
Didn't we sign a contract already?
We already have a contract,
There is a
guys, and we
contract.
have money in the budget, so.
Okay, I mean, can't we just administratively do it?
Right.
Whatever.
I mean,
And we work with DHH, we recommend that because
I'll be glad
we
to go
don't
through
have
the
a
process
parish
here, but I think we
doctor.
already signed that contract. We have,
Well, let's
that's what East
execute
Baton
it.
Rouge proved. I'm with Mr. Hillsback. Let's execute it. I mean, I think
do it.
administration can take care of that. So I don't see a need to put it on the agenda, but I mean, if y'all want to go through the motion.
Sure,
Yeah.
that's fine.
We got a motion and a second. What's the wishes of the council? You withdraw your motion?
I'll withdraw my motion. We'll just execute the
Withdraw.
contract in
Okay.
place. That's fine. I just want to get it done, and I was saying, let's get it done.
I know, Mr. President, you had something you want to say?
Well, I'll just continue my report. Thank you, David, for that part of it.
Okay, Mr. President, I'll give you a report as soon as possible on executing that contract.
Good.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, David. We also received on August the 29th from the Department of Housing and Urban Development our first federal dollars for the acquisition of Lamar Dixon, $247,500, and it was $250, but it was appropriated on November the 18th, 2005, so you can kind of see how long it takes to do some of these things. And because of a 1% rescission mandated in the act, meaning they take back 1% of the grant to use it at the HUD level or in the congressional level. So that's why it's $247,500, and that should be coming electronically to us real soon. In addition, Senator Armada at the state level has $65,000 in this year's budget, cash, and then $500,000 in the Capital Outlay Priority 2 program next year, which he's confident a good bit of that can be also moved to Priority 1, which is cash. And then in addition, in the congressional budget going forward at the present time for 07, beginning October 1st, we have money in there for the Lamar Dixon acquisition as well for next year, which gives us the adequate funding to exercise the option. So we'll be talking with more levy. We need to get the Lamar Dixon committee together as soon as we can on the council so we can talk about this. Number 3, the jail expansion. I signed the contract today with Grace Hebert to expand our parish jail. They've been working, been through legal now, and so that's moving forward. I'm hearing rumors that the costs keep escalating. We've got to get a handle on this and see exactly what we're talking about, because we kind of we did an open-ended thing there because of the circumstances and the inspections by fire marshals and being overcrowded. So I've reviewed the fire marshal's report for the last 2 years. In fact, they do one about every 6 months, and we'll get you more information on that as it becomes available. Now, in addition to the courthouse, item number 4, I just want to talk to you briefly about tonight. I spent a good bit of time over there this afternoon again. That's really looking good. So if you haven't been over there, and we're going to be planning an event, a ribbon cut and open house type of event with the parish office on the bottom floor and the courthouse improvements as far as the courtroom itself and all. That's really significantly improved that building, and it's maintained it within the character and the historical significance of the building. And so hopefully it will be used by our judges and others, but that project should be finished this month sometime. And so if you haven't been there, I invite you to go over there and look at that. So that's the things that it's been 3 weeks since we met. There's a lot of things we could talk about, but I don't want to spend any time if you have questions on different issues. Wastewater is moving forward. Mr. Ruse in Washington tomorrow, meeting with members of Congress on both wastewater. Mr. Diaz told me this week that the water franchise agreement with Ascension Water and Parish Water. We got one item basically left that we're negotiating and arguing over, and that's the amount of penalties if things are not done as far as putting in these fire hydrants that's been agreed to by the company. So there's a lot of things happening in a lot of different areas, getting close to conclusion, hopefully. And so if any of you have questions, preferably really outside the meeting, just talk to me so we can discuss any specific questions you have on any of these projects. But we hope to have to you, hopefully, about 2 weeks from tonight, the water franchise agreement. Now, it depends on if we get this last item agreed to between the lawyers and the parties involved, but we'll have a draft for you, hopefully, 2 weeks from tonight. But we're not rushing it. We want to make sure we, and it's been a lengthy process, but it's really been, we probably have one of the better agreements that's being negotiated in this regard. It's not going to solve all of our fire service issues and water supply, but it's going to significantly improve fire protection, or at least the availability of water and fire hydrants in many areas of our parish that really need it. And so that's my report, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much.
Anyone got anything for the Parish President? Ms. Fontenot?
I would appreciate if we could possibly get it as early as next week for the utility meeting. The negotiations began there. I'd like to kind of see it be finalized there if possible. I don't know if that's possible. That's
Talking about the water franchise?
The water franchise, next week we meet, and it would be nice to see it, come through the final stage through where it began. Thank you.
Anyone else? We've got a couple of things. Parish President passed out intergovernmental agreement between the parish and Caldwell Parish in dealing with the jail expansion. This is something that we may have to go towards if the jail overcrowdedness does not get better. As you can look on the second page, they're willing to take our inmates at a cost of $22.39 per day. That's what it's costing the parish, plus the cost of transporting to and from as needed. So there's a big need to get the project moving on as fast as we can. And yeah, we do need to look at the cost of it, but there's a need there, that's for sure. One more thing, Mr. President, you mentioned Lamar Dixon. We did receive $249,000 for acquisition, and that grant does allow us to put that money toward the purchase of Lamar Dixon.
That's what it tells us, yes, sir.
Okay.
And we have Ms. Collins going to be in Washington, and Mr. Keller next week actually meeting with HUD, people who handle those grants. It's an area of economic development, and Senator Vitter's office has assured us that that's what they were doing with it. And it's $247,500 now because of that 1% they took off for the $250. And now, and I failed to mention something that Jerry mentioned about these intergovernmental agreements we gave you. If you recall, we already have one with St. Charles Parish. I think it goes back to 2002 when our parish jail can now handle all of our inmates. St. Charles is taking in some inmates from other areas as well, and so this is just two standby agreements with two parishes that the sheriff's office has negotiated in case we need it. The warden, Bobby Weber, doesn't think we will, and so if it comes to the time where we have to really fund this, and if it goes over my contractual limit of $10,000, we have to come to the council to get some approval. This is mostly to be there, so if the fire marshal's office comes in and we, like we have been on times, too many people in the parish prison, they can see that we have a plan in place to deal with that, where we can take those prisoners to another facility. So we actually have three now: St. Charles, Catahoula, and Caldwell, I think. So we just give you a copy of that so you kind of see that. It's basically the same agreement, from what I understand, that was executed in 2002 with St. Charles. And the rate of $22 and something is actually the State Department of Corrections rate, as I understand it. And you recall, we pay $3.50 for feeding our people in the parish jail that are parish prisoners. That's a state rate that the sheriff, we have to pay when we move them to another facility. And Justice Coordinating Council that's been meeting now for over a year has made some significant progress, I feel. I think we all do, in trying to improve the effectiveness and the efficiency of a judicial system from all aspects. And hopefully, as soon as this expansion is completed, we will not have to have these kind of contracts in place in the near term for many years ahead. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Valentine.
Yeah, just to add to the parish presidents, and I think, and I'm not sure, parish president, if you had a chance to talk with the sheriff or not, but I know Mr. Guidry was at the criminal justice committee meeting along with I'm sit on as a council representative. The urgency was definitely relayed to us from the sheriff in the situation that he did have at the jail. The overcrowding was close to a point where he had to do something, and that is why we had to institute these two contracts. But there was a gentleman there from Church United for Community Development, Mr. Laborde, that brought a step-out program that they'll have a grant for, that they can help relieve some of the prisoners that are sitting waiting, naturally non-sexual offenders and someone that may be in for some drug addiction situations, that they could actually essentially eliminate some of the beds or make vacant some of the beds. And I think that program, Warden Weber was real excited about that, and so was the sheriff. So that's a temporary fix. He does have spots for about 25 people, and that would help us immensely if they could immediately do that, and that's what they were going to work toward. But the cooperation we're getting from the judges, Judge Ralph Turo, Mr. Babin, Ricky Babin, the DA's office, has been really great to keep us in a position where we don't have to execute one of these contracts. I guess my question, Chairman, do we need to act on this tonight to give him the okay? There was some question if we institute this could go over $10,000. Once you send prisoners out, and that's what the sheriff was trying to impress upon us, once we send prisoners out, it makes it difficult for the indigent defenders to get to them. It makes they stay there a lot longer. So if we have to do this, they could be there for 6 to 8 months to a year before and it's going to take us, let's face it, it's going to be a while before we get the addition done. So I'm going to ask Chairman, do we need to put this on the agenda to give Parish President the okay to execute these?
Well, we
Or
have,
is it not
like
necessary?
Parish President said, we have an agreement already with St. Charles, so if the sheriff gets in a position where he has to offload some of them, that we do have a place to go right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Well,
But
they're only taking women, though.
that's all they take.
Yes.
Yeah, we're just doing
Now,
women. St. Charles.
what we can, Chairman, and we do have an executive committee, Mr. Hillensback, myself, Mr. Martin sits on that. We could execute that and then pass it on, if it's needed immediately. So we could do
I think the
that.
Parish President has enough with the $10,000
Okay.
limit that he can activate it and then come back to us.
That's fine. No problem.
That's the way the kids work.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Jensen Lambert.
Yeah, well, I'd like to thank, this is the second night of all good news that we're hearing in the parish. The Cabela's, Mr. President, we don't want to hold up too long here, but I know we got the ruling back. How do you feel about the Cabela's?
I avoided the media on that one this time, letting the city take the spotlight, because it really is more of their project. And I think the mayor actually met with the 9 and 2 finally on. They've both been calling us a lot. Obviously, it's going to be a big boost for our drainage. That's where the parish will receive drainage tax. Obviously, the state is going to still receive 2.5 cents of sales tax, even with their incremental give back. And the city will receive a little bit, but the school system will really benefit with 2 cents there. And hopefully the project will go forward. Obviously, on these kind of projects, Councilman Lambert, you're conflicted, like I've said before, as a small business owner. I have some personal feelings. And then putting on my parish president's hat, looking at the parish as a whole, and is it the best thing for Ascension Parish? As parish president, I thought it was, so that's why I helped as much as I could behind the scenes with it. But it's going to do some things that will benefit our community if their projections are accurate, and as far as other type of businesses that will also now make a commitment to our parish because of that project. Since you asked if it's okay with the chairman, I'll take a minute. Some things we can't say a lot about in economic development, but there's some. You're familiar with Synfuel. You've heard about the Shaw and the ethanol plant. There are some big things right now on the horizon within our parish, not just on the retail side, but also on the industrial side. We're truly blessed. Now, we have to balance all of this with economic development, the environment, and quality of life issues, which is always tough for us as elected officials to do that, to reach that balance and to get that happy medium that's truly a win-win. But with the things that are now happening, our Economic Development Corporation and Mr. Kirst and the 7-member board and Tommy's staff are really working on a lot of projects. I was in some meetings this week again with them, with people coming in from out of state, with different things happening. So there is a lot happening. And there's a lot of retail businesses now that have been hinging on this decision with Cabela's, from what we understand, who probably now will make that commitment where they had options on property to go ahead and exercise those options. So it is, overall, I think it's going to be very positive for our parish. I can also understand the argument of some small businesses and their feelings against it, because I have some of those same concerns as a small business person. But when you look at the overall impact on our parish, it should be very positive.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Parish President.
Mr. Hillenbeck.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. President, I guess I take exception to one comment, and that is that the school system is going to benefit, and really the additional revenue that they're going to pick up and additional taxes that is going to be an offset. They will actually receive less money from the state through the MFP funding formula. George, I'm right about this. And the numbers I've seen, I think the school board will only benefit to the tune of about maybe an additional $80,000 a year. I mean, it's very minimal. They're going to be penalized in their state funding. So everything else that you said I agreed with, but the school system is not going to see a big benefit. And I don't want the public to think that all of a sudden they're going to be having all kind of extra cash, because that's not the case.
No, I was just saying they were going to get the 2-cent sales tax, Mr. Hillenbeck. Now, obviously, there's some formulations involved with that.
MFP, the state's going to withhold it on.
And I don't think any of us understand the MFP formula.
Well, you're right about that.
I just had one comment, and I won't belabor the point. And that was thanks to Ricky Babin and Jeff Diaz, because they did the negotiation on this. They wanted our half cent from drainage too, and we didn't give it to them. This is a City of Gonzales project, and we appreciate the parish president helping out in that. It's their land. They're the one that get past the tax. It was reported on TV last night. It was a parish-wide tax, and it was not that we gave up. We did not give up anything, and we appreciate our attorneys a lot for doing that. Thank you very much.
That's it. Number 6, consent agenda, adopt August 17th minutes of regular meeting.
So moved, Mr. Chairman. Second.
Motion by Mr. Todd Lambert, second by Mr. Valentine. Is there any discussion? Is there any opposition? Having none, motion passed. Number 7, Utilities Committee. Mr. Byriver.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday at 6 p.m., and that completes my presentation.
Number 8, Personnel Committee. Mr. Valentine.
Thank you, Chairman Savoy. A is the nurses' pay scale. I don't think Mr. Matassa was able. Mr. Katz, you're going to handle this. We had a meeting. Mr. Matassa asked us to call a meeting of Personnel Committee to discuss the immediate need for the increase in nurses' salaries that we pay. And so, Mr. Katz, you want to present that, please?
Yes, thank you. I think you have in your packet, or you were given tonight, the same information that we gave to the Personnel Committee. Our real problem is, as you can see, is with RNs, registered nurses, with the Gonzales Health Unit. We've been advertising at separate times. We've had 6 or more applicants turn down the position due to the low salary. On both occasions, the job was offered to an applicant, each of whom later decided to turn it down due to the pay. It has become impossible to fill this position per the pay that we're doing. Now, we're not asking to look at any other salaries in this. All we're doing is ask
And this is not going to be a budget buster for now because we've got the money to handle this. But if you can see, we want to move the nurse supervisor position from a 119 to a 123. We want to move the registered nurse position from a 118 to a 122. And I might add, that's the key. It seems like RNs are going in Baton Rouge for around $25 an hour, and that's way above what we're doing. And some of them that are going into specialties like neonatal care and things like that. That's the other things that we're competing with. But we do have benefits, and it's not the same stress, but we've got to get into a competitive part. The move to licensed practical nurse position from a 114 to a 117. And I'm not sure if at this point, if you approve this, Councilman, if we have to go to an ordinance on this since it's changing the salary structure.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Mr. Byringer.
Second.
Second by Mr. Dempsey Lambert. Is there any question? Mr. Babin.
Mr. Babin stepped out for a second. Mr. Babin.
Mr. Babin. We're changing salaries. It has to come to us in the form of an ordinance.
Nurses.
Question.
You have to, your salary schedule is adopted by ordinance. You need to adopt an ordinance to amend the existing ordinance.
That's what your amendment, your motion is, Mr. Byringer?
Yeah, to introduce this ordinance. Yes, sir.
That was the recommendation of the Personnel Committee. Mr. Barry could beat me to the punch. I was going to suggest that because we did talk about that, but it will have to be an amendment to the ordinance. And as Mr. Roy Katz said, it's only dealing with the nurses. The immediate need is very critical. And so that's why he's not going with anything else. So Mr. Barry's motion will have to be an amendment to the ordinance, and we'll have to go through that process.
Okay. Any further questions? Any opposition? Having none, motion passes.
Thank you.
Chairman Savoy, we have the additions, two-third additions, the appointments to the specific boards and commissions. The first one will be the Ascension Parish Tourist Commission, and we recommend Ms. Susan Ringwald.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Byringer, second by Mr. Todd Lambert. Is there any discussion? Is there any opposition? Having none, motion passes.
The second appointment tonight will be for the Zoning Board of Adjustments and Appeal, and that would be Mr. David LeBlanc.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Got a motion by Mr. Todd Lambert. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Byringer. Is there any discussion? Any opposition? Having none, motion passes.
The last one is the Industrial Development Board, and Mr. Michael Calvaruso is the recommendation.
Motion by Mr. Hillensbeck. Second by Mr. Byringer. Is there any discussion? Any opposition? Having none, motion passes.
That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Valentine. Number 9, Recreation Committee, Ms. Stroud.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Recreation Committee met on August 29th. We had a couple presentations, one of which was from the West Ascension Recreation Services Commission, who provided a PowerPoint presentation and also a financial statement. And currently they are working with Ms. Cheryl Kinchin, the Director of Recreation, to work together to enhance the parish parks in West Ascension. Secondly, we had discussions on a BMX. It's a bicycle motocross, not the motors, but the actual bicycle motocross to be placed someplace in Ascension Parish. So we're in the process of discussing that. One of the things that we talked about in the meeting was that we didn't have a lot of volunteers in West Ascension. Well, we've recruited several organizations in West Ascension to volunteer to enhance the parks over here. So we're working on that. And our next meeting is going to be September 26th at 6:30, and I invite all Ascension Parish residents to attend because, as you know, recreation is very important. Right now, you hear a lot of things on the news about children and obesity. So recreation is very important, getting your children involved. So if you have any ideas, at least for the next month and a half or 2 months while I'm here, I'm open to hear them. But we invite all of you to attend. Thank you.
Thank you. Number 10, Transportation Committee, Ms. Fontenot.
Yes, Mr. Savoy. I don't think there's anyone here from DPW tonight, so I guess we'll have to handle it from here. We had an authorization of a payment for an invoice from ETL Parker Road improvements in the amount of $133,731.33. That did pass the committee and is recommended to the full council, and it is in our meetings.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Dennis Lambert, second by Mr. Todd Lambert. Any discussion? Is there any opposition? Having none, motion passes.
We have item B is an authorization of payment for invoice from ETEL for Boudreaux Road improvements in the amount of $27,294.62.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Byrigger, second by Ms. Strout. Any discussion? Any opposition? Having none, motion passes.
Item number C, acceptance of roads into the Ascension Parish road system. We have number 1, Rivergate subdivision, A, Rivergate Avenue, B, Riverwalk Drive, and C, Spring Valley Drive. Do we need to take them all at the same time, or?
We'll take them up all at one time.
Okay, then we'll go on to 2, which is Ascension Trace subdivision, A, Hemingway Drive, B, Hawthorne Drive, C, Salinger Drive, D, Kipling Drive, E, Seneca Drive, F, Fitzgerald Drive, G, Cicero Drive, and H, Faulkner Drive. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Valentine, second by Mr. Todd Lambert. Is there any discussion?
Question.
Ms. Strout.
Who signed the Ascension Trace? I just have a simple question. The data prepared by? Is it required to be signed by someone? This, if you look in the package, the actual, it says it's Parish of Ascension Parish Government. Data prepared by, is that required? Or is that just?
What page are you on, Ms. Stroud?
It's agenda item 10.
No, I mean, what page in the
The third
packet?
page at the bottom, the third, the fourth, all the way through. Is that required to be signed? You need me to show?
That would be B.J. Lambert. I don't know if he did sign it. No,
Ms. Strout, clarify your question.
Is it required to be signed?
Signed off? It is required
Signed
by
off.
DPW to be signed off. Yes.
Okay, so it
You're
needs to
talking
be
about
signed
data
off.
prepared by?
Yes.
I think what Ms. Stroud might be saying is the first group is signed by Mr. Lambert, and the second group
one's
is not signed.
Right, not at
I
all.
think is the clarification.
That's
that-
fine.
yes,
That's
ma'am.
Is it required to be signed as a part of the legal documents of Ascension Parish? It says data prepared by. Is there a requirement to sign the document before it's submitted to us? Let me add that. Before we vote.
I don't know if I really know the answer. I signed off on all the maintenance bonds and things. Mr. Lambert is the person within Public Works that works with the roads, and he's not signing. He's just signing saying he did this data, and it could just be his name printed. So I don't know the answer. I didn't catch that when I went through my packet. That the first set he's got his name on, the second set he doesn't.
Because in actuality, you're signing that it's true and correct, what's on that document? That all those measurements, maps, surface? Just a question.
And a good, valid question.
Very good question.
Are we okay to add pending legal muster with these that's in question?
I say,
Absolutely.
Mr. Babin, are you out there? Going again?
All right, is there any further question?
we are adding pending legal.
Pending legal.
And certification of the signature.
Of those signatures
Okay.
on the roads that's been in question. All right. Any further question? Any opposition? Having none, motion passes.
Okay, we have item D, which is the Louisiana Highway sidewalks. Now, when we discussed this, that we had come to the conclusion that this was already done, and we had asked that it would be put on this committee if it had not been, and so I'm assuming since it's in the packet. The minutes read, the committee requested that the council secretary research the agenda item regarding Louisiana 44 sidewalks contract. They seem to think this was already done to full council and voted upon. If not, Bill Rue will contact the council secretary with further direction. Mr. Rue is not here tonight. I'm assuming that because it's in the packet, that it was not done previously, and that we need to vote on it.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Byricker, second by Mr. Todd Lambert. Ms. Fontenot, my recollection is that we did act on this prior to Katrina, and when Katrina came, the state pulled their money back temporarily, and then they put it back in, so it's just a repeat, really.
So it's just a repeat.
Yes.
So we've got that covered.
Yes.
Okay, I do have another item
Wait,
that,
do you need approval?
Yes, go
okay,
ahead.
yeah, that's correct.
We
Need a
approve
motion
it
and
again,
approval.
but let's do
Is
it
there any
again.
further questions on Highway 44 sidewalk project? Any opposition? Having none, motion passes.
I do have one other item that was put in our packet tonight that came from the state of Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development. I feel that it's important that the citizens get this information. It's to President Hughes. This is in response to your letter of July 18, 2006 to Secretary Bradbury. Information on the projects you listed is as follows. US 61, this project was let to contract in May 2006 with the low bid being $5.6 million. A work order was issued on July the 24th, 2006. The work duration is 110 working days, which, considering weather, usually would be 8 to 9 months. This project was funded through DOTD Highway Priority Program. Your request to lower the speed limit has been forwarded to our district traffic engineer, Mr. Ronnie Corder. Louisiana 74, an overlay project is scheduled to be let in 7 of 08 with an estimated cost of $1.9 million. Louisiana 44, a project to make improvements to this route is scheduled to be let later this year. The estimated construction cost is $5.7 million. Louisiana 73 at I-10 and Louisiana 621, the engineering for this project is being handled by the Ascension Parish Public Works Department through an engineering consultant. Plans have not been yet finalized. However, once plans are delivered to DOT, the project can be processed for letting. If plans are delivered soon, the project can be let in early 2007. The estimated cost of construction for this project will be $1.7 million and is being funded through the MPO's Urban Systems Program. That was just a little bit of update that I thought that the people needed to know on projects that are ongoing by the state. Thank you. I want to remind everybody that the Transportation Committee meets on the second Tuesday of the month at 6:30 or immediately following the Utility Committee. And I want to remind everybody to drive with caution and care. Thank you.
Number 11, Strategic Planning Committee. Does Vice Chairman have anything to report on strategic planning? Moving right along. Number 12, Finance Committee. There was no Finance Committee agendas or nothing. Number 13, the next few items will be for review only. Zoning Review ID 1546.06, Lot 3C for Todd Husser, located on the east side of Louisiana Highway 73, approximately 200 feet south of Ascension Parish Road, to amend the Ascension Parish zoning map from medium intensity residential to crossroads commercial. That's review only. Number 14, Zoning Review ID 1547.06, Lot 11B of the Winford Causey Estate for design contractors, located on the southwest corner of Louisiana Highway 42 and Vernon Causey, to amend the Ascension Parish zoning map from conservation to rural. That's review only. Number 15, Zoning Review ID 1548.06 for Louisiana Gifts and Gallery, located on the east side of La Rosa Park Road, approximately 800 feet south of Easley Malonson Road, to amend the Ascension Parish zoning map from medium intensity residential to mixed use. That's for review only. Number 16, Zoning Review ID 1549.06 for Dave Miller, located on the west side of Louisiana Highway 73, approximately 500 feet north of River Oaks Road, to amend the Ascension Parish zoning map from conservation to medium intensity residential. That's for review only. Number 17, Zoning Review ID 1550.06 Lot 1F, 1B for Kerry Holton, located on the east side of Floyd Holton Road, approximately 700 feet north of Norwood Road, to amend Ascension Parish zoning from rural to mixed use. That's review only. Number 18, Orange Grove Community Development Conceptual Plan, PUD. I do have someone in the audience wishing to speak on item 18. Ms. Catherine Goppel.
Good evening, council members and citizens of Ascension Parish. This planned unit development, or PUD, lies adjacent to Highway 22 and is near Ormet. This is the first PUD to be brought before the council. This land is presently zoned conservation. In this land use, 1 house per acre is presently allowed. The area encompasses 134.37 acres. That translates into 134 homes under the zoning code. 352 homes were planned, and I've been told that's been adjusted. This is much more than the code is allowed. This project as planned can be explained with one 5-letter word: greed. This property is owned by the Shake-Snyder family. Mr. Kent Shake-Snyder is my councilman. He was instrumental in guiding the PUD ordinance through the council committee he chairs. Councilman Shake-Snyder has often expressed frustration to me with the way that people find loopholes in the family planning partition zoning code in order to develop their property. It seems the shoe is on the other foot. Attorney Charles Landry was hired to present by the present administration to put the PUD in place. This council and citizens were told by Mr. Landry that the PUDs would follow the current land use. This was not intended to be another loophole to allow developers to increase the density of property with the blessing of this council. It was meant to manage growth while protecting private property rights. Have we been deceived again? It appears so. Citizens wonder why we have unprecedented growth, subdivisions with houses on top of one another, infrastructure broken under the strain, homes flooding, traffic problems, lack of water, sewer and fire protection. Growth is being planned, make no mistake, but not in the best interest of the citizens of the parish. Those planning development have an agenda that can be explained with another 5-letter word: money. Can we afford to continue compromising the best interest of the people to pad the bank accounts of engineering firms and developers who in turn pad the pockets of our elected officials? It is anything but a wonderful day in Ascension Parish. You council members have been elected by the people to protect our property and manage the growth. Don't allow the PUD ordinance to become another loophole for developers to violate our laws. Ascension Parish has become a red light district and is being prostituted to any and every developer who knocks on our door. You can protect the interests of the people, even though this administration has not, and send this developer back to the drawing table. The density is a problem. I want to mention that fire protection should be a concern. I have been told that there is a fire unit plan for this area. I think you should really consider this because it is the first PUD and it will set a precedent. Thank you.
That's all the wishing to speak?
Mr. Chairman, I'm not speaking on behalf of the developer. I don't know if it's the right time or not.
No, sir. You didn't make the time. I mean, unfortunately, you needed to have it signed up prior to. Okay. All right. What's the wishes of the council?
Mr. Chairman, I move to accept planning and zoning's recommendation.
We got a motion by Mr. Byrigger.
Second.
Second by Ms. Strout. Question, Ms. Fontenot.
I have some things I needed to say tonight. I was prepared. I've been talking about this for several weeks now, and I just got a chance to meet with the developer tonight. The people of Ascension Parish cried out at the end of the term of 203 to the council and at the beginning of 204 to this council to do away with zero lot lines, and we did that. Unfortunately, we were sold a PUD ordinance. I attended several meetings and listened to what the ordinance originator told me a PUD was supposed to be. And I now have a clip of what was told to us at that meeting. Ozzie, can you get that for us? Todd, if you can hit the lights.
Requirements in terms of buffers, fencing. Some PUDs have what the facade of buildings look like, the characteristic of the structures, none of which can ever be imposed in a traditional zone. So let me give you an illustration. Let's say that you have a piece of property in a conservation district and it's 100 acres. And the owner of the property decides that he or she would like to do a development. And right now you can do one house per acre. Well, to do that and to develop it properly, they're going to fill in 10 acres of wetlands. They're going to go get a 404 permit, and they're going to do that. They're going to knock down every tree on the piece of property. There's some really wonderful wooded areas on 15 acres. But for them to get their 100 lots, they have to make an economic decision to just do the wrong thing and scrape the property. With a PUD, and let me also put one more characteristic here, and everybody around that piece of property is opposed to it. All right? So you have homeowner opposition, a resident opposition, and you have a developer who really wants to do what the zoning, what regular zoning would do, but it's going to result in some impact in terms of doing the right thing. Under a PUD, that developer could come to the planning commission and ultimately to the council, it has to be approved by the council, and to say, look, I'm prepared to protect all this area. I'm going to take this 25 acres and I'm going to leave it alone. And instead of my building 100 houses throughout the 100 acres, I'm going to build 100 houses on 75 acres. And I'm going to do all kinds of wonderful buffers. I'm going to put fencing. I'm going to show you a landscape plan. I'm going to restrict what I do to a very particular use. PUD requires, don't even bring a PUD unless you have 15 to 20% common open space. Now, by common open space, I don't mean open to the public, but it has to be generally available to the residents within that development. It opens things up, and it's a real opportunity to address a lot of the problems that you have right now in the parish with kind of standard developments. To really address that is with a mechanism.
This clip shows clearly what I was told by the originator of PUD would be. Tonight we are here to approve our first PUD, which will set the precedents for all others. This is not about the developer of this PUD or any other developers. These developers should have included us in this process a little bit earlier. I'm talking about the developers of this particular property. I didn't meet with them until earlier tonight. It is about making sure that we do the right thing for all people who live and work in this community. The piece of ground being developed, known as Orange Grove, is currently being proposed for property zone conservation. This requires only 1 house per acre. We are being asked tonight to rezone it to a PUD and thus rezone it to provide over the double the current density. The previous clip is the example I was given as to what a PUD would be. I used this example as the reason why I should not support this development tonight. This proposed PUD will drastically change the density of the piece of land that was purposely zoned conservation when zoning was put in place by this parish. I do not support this new means of increasing zoning density. To me, this seems to be a new way to increase property density by a means other than the conventional one already in place. Because this developer has approached me tonight and has altered his plans to include more benefits and has reduced the density somewhat, it shows the power that we have by approving a PUD. So that is why we put the PUDs in place in the first place, for one of those reasons. Some of the things that the developer told me tonight that he would do, and that's to put a fire station, that they would have a commissary at some point in time on the property. He's eliminated some of the townhouses and reduced the density and put more garden homes for senior citizens. And he said that he was going to work toward getting land for a school, which would be needed if this thing is completely developed. I also was called today by the plant manager of Ormet. Mr. Tommy Templeton called me, said that he was leaving out this evening. Anyway, he called me and said that he was flying out to New Orleans this afternoon and was unable to attend our meeting tonight, but asked that I convey his feelings to the community, and he gave me permission to quote him. I was told there is already a residential development adjacent to some of his red mud lakes, and that the development is only a stone's throw away from those lakes. He says that we need to consider the safety and welfare of the residents. He also told me that he attended several weeks ago a planning and zoning meeting about a development. He didn't say it was this development. He said about a development. And that whenever he spoke, he said that when he got finished, there was dead silence, and it was just like he wasn't even there. Nobody paid any attention, and they just rubber-stamped the development. That's his words, not mine. Mr. Templeton said he understood that our zoning was put in place to prevent high density in a residential area. Mr. Temple then told me that the developer called and introduced himself some time back. He was told that the school board was interested in land for a school and wanted to know if Ormet would participate. He told the developer he was not in support of this development, that he would not join in, and discouraged a school being put there, and that he was not in favor of such. He said that the size of this development violates the key principle of the current zoning regulations. Mr. Templeton said that currently industrial activity is not at that end, but at some point could become active, and then he would have grave concerns at that point. These are the things that he wanted me to convey to the public. I did meet this afternoon later with the developer. He did seem to work with us as a PUD is supposed to work. That's why we do a PUD in the first place, is to allow the developer to give us some things that we don't want. I understand that there is a turn lane going in. The only problem I have with this PUD at this time is the density. And the only reason why I would probably support this tonight is if I'm guaranteed the fire station, the turn lane, the commissary, and the things that they brought out in the meeting tonight, because I think these are good things for the community. Even though I am somewhat concerned about the density, they did reduce it somewhat, and I was pleased with that. I just want to make sure that I make it clear to the public that I'm not for rezoning property to a higher density. This particular density can withstand this area because it is undeveloped. But, you know, I do have a concern at the fact that we would raise the density because of others that might come in another area where the density is already above. So these are some of the things that I've been assured by people that I've talked to, that this is the right of the council. We can choose when we want a development. If it's too dense, we can say no. And so I just wanted to bring this information public because I thought it was important for everyone to know and understand. This is the first one we're doing, and we need to make sure it's right.
Mr. Valentine.
Chairman Savoy, thank you for your comments, Ms. Fontenot. I don't have the plat in front of me again. We had it at the previous meeting where the item was withdrawn. Did I remember seeing some stub outs? Did you guys have some stub outs with the property next door?
I'm sorry, state your name, please.
Mr. Chairman, President, Councilman, my name is Ron Mendel. Thank you. Mr. President, Mr. Chairman, Councilwomen, Councilmen, my name is Ron Menville. I'm the developer of the proposed PUD at Orange Grove, and I believe the question is regarding the stub outs that would lead into the Ormet property where we felt a potential school site would be. And Councilwoman Fontenot relayed some comments from the plant manager, Mr. Temple. The last time I met with him, he expressed, I think, this tenet of their business, that they're not going to support development in an industrial area. He expressed to me at that time that he would take it all the way up the ladder to New England, where his headquarters were, and he thought there was a reasonable chance that he might bring it by his management. Importantly, the school board has expressed a significant desire for a K-5 school that would feed the Saint Amant school system, and so we looked at 2 or 3 sites around this proposed development that would be suitable for that, and the school board has expressed a real strong desire to locate a school there. There are 2 stub outs that I think you're referring to.
Right.
Go ahead.
That's to the side of the property. The Ormet property you're talking of, is that?
Over here.
That's over here. Okay, so you don't have any stub outs to the back?
No,
just
sir.
to the Ormet property?
Yes, sir.
And your intention is for property for a school?
That's correct. The discussion with Ormet was that, and with the school board, is that the school board needs approximately 10 to 12 acres. And we offered to do whatever we could.
So the only reason you really contacted Ormet, if I understand you right, is essentially for land to deal with the school, not really to advise them of the development?
No, sir. Actually, the main purpose of our visit was to let them know what we were doing with this proposed project.
Okay.
But contemporaneously with that discussion, the school board had already approached me about a school site. So it really was well received by the plant manager at that time.
Okay.
He told me that he had never had a developer approach them and lay out their plans in the past, and he wondered why. But in that discussion, he was very positive, not about the tenet of development in an industrial area, but about the concept of supporting a school in the immediate area.
So why didn't you contact the DuPont plant, which is closer to it?
It's a very good question. We actually, I hate to plead ignorance, but honestly just didn't realize it was as close as the crow flies.
It's a lot closer.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that.
Mr. Valentine, DuPont man. Go
Yes,
I work at
yes,
that
sir.
plant.
I'm aware of that, sir.
And I wear two hats.
Yes.
I wear a councilman hat and I wear a DuPont hat. And very disappointed that no one came by to talk to our plant manager involved with this situation. He has some concerns too, and it would have been, I think, prudent on your part to do that. I guess I'm going to have to say that I am concerned. On the other hand, we did pass a PUD ordinance. If this meets the spirit of the PUD ordinance, I'm going to have, and I guess my question to Mr. Babin would be, if he's, Ricky must be sick tonight. Every time we ask for him, he's gone. I guess my question, Mr. Babin, is, and Ms. Fontenot brought it out, and it was brought out several times.
Mr. Brock.
Well, maybe Mr. Brock, is the fact that the council actually has the last say. Do we have to have a reason? Okay, and I guess that's my point. In other things that we deal with, dealing with planning and zoning, if it meets the criteria, if it meets the zoning laws, essentially you can't deny a developer to do something. But if this is different, and Ms. Fontenot was right, we're treading some new ground here. I am excited about the fact that you guys are talking to the school board. They're going to need at least 10 acres. I can tell you that. Ms. Dillon's back and I served on it.
And fire department.
And fire department. But I don't see that in front of me right now. All I got is what I got last time. I got townhouses, which y'all said y'all revised. I got, I don't see. Is it here and I'm missing it? Is this a revised situation that they brought? I mean, I understand, Mr. Meerville, your situation. I apologize because I did not get a chance to talk to you. And I do have some concerns also because of the density, because of the industry, and the reason why it was put as a single conservation area. But I don't see the fire station here. I don't see the promise of, yes, Lance, can you address that?
Yes, sir. What was sent to you from the Planning Commission is recommendation is what you have.
Okay.
If there are any changes to it, the code says that an approval with conditions that you do shall not be considered final until the applicant submits a written acceptance of those conditions and all necessary revisions of the concept plan to the parish council.
Okay.
So he would have to agree upon that and submit that to you with those conditions.
All right.
Councilman Valentine and councilmen and councilwomen, we made an absolute commitment to the fire department to provide land and a building for a 2-bay fire station. We're going to honor that commitment 100%. We also, and it is incorporated into our current master plans. We made an absolute commitment to incorporate a clubhouse and pool facility that includes a commissary so that the residents of this development could turn inward for their daily staples, bread, milk, and basic food supplies. And we committed to a master postal facility located at the commissary. The commissary would typically be run by maybe a visually impaired person or other handicapped person. And the master postal facility is a place where the neighbors come and meet to get their mail. And it creates a much more of a neighborhood and a place with the values that I think we all grew up with. All of those commitments, though, are not soft on our part, including our commitment to support the school and facilitate some land as required.
I guess, Chairman, how do we stipulate with conditions in the motion? Or maybe Parish President got some answers.
This is what I'd like. This is what I'd like. I would like for either Ron or Mr. Lance to share with us all the amenities that's been talked about on this particular development to date. Okay, so share with us the amenities that we're looking at this development. I think it's important that everybody understands what this development is bringing to the area and that development,
right.
and that's the PUD. I think that's important right now.
I got one more. Before we move on to that, the reason why I asked about stub outs, and I didn't get the answer, but I'm glad you clarified it. But let's say that Ormet decides not to do that, and eventually you acquire that land. Lance, this is a question for you. If we have a PUD that's 130 acres, and essentially they buy another 50 acres, does that because of our 51% rule. Does that have anything to do with it? Okay, that's what I
Come back, and everyone's going to be different.
Okay, well, and I know we set precedent when we do things, but this is one that we really might not set precedent on, except for the major parts involved with it. Okay, all right. Go ahead.
All right, Council, first off, just to stay with the stub house for 1 second, we want to make a commitment, as in whatever fashion we can make a legal commitment to you, that we will not expand this project without addressing turning lanes, leaving the development, or additional exits or entrances. That's not what you asked me, but I want to give you an assurance that it is not our intention to expand this development in the future without addressing concerns that might arise in that regard. So I just want to set the record straight on that. As far as for amenities, this is a development that includes traditional housing, as well as an area that we call the neighborhood, which has rear alleys that allow you to drive into the back of your home and park your car, not on the main street and not in a driveway or garage or carport in the front of the house. And those homes are with front porches, and they're designed to have more neighborly contact in them. And they range to the center of the development near the clubhouse and pool area. We're committing to putting in a pool and a clubhouse. The lakes that we have, which of course also serve a retention purpose, actually have real walking trails around them. They have real footbridges over them. They have substantial gazebos and picnicking and barbecuing capabilities. We have a substantial playground commitment that we've made as a result of some discussions with some of the council persons here around the clubhouse area. I've mentioned the commissary, which is a unique feature. You'd see it at River Ranch in Lafayette. You'd see it in a more expanded way, but we're going to start small, and as much as we can rationalize and justify, we'll grow that component of the development. The project includes we own property that goes up to and even across Miller's Canal. Miller's Canal has been, thanks to parish work, has been cleaned out in that area of the parish, and it makes for a nice small boat canal for pirogues and canoes and trolling motors, and we're going to put a little boathouse where people can hang their canoes and pirogues right there, and possibly take advantage of Miller's Canal as an additional amenity. There are trails interconnected throughout the entire development, and there are access paths from the main roads throughout the development to the lakes and ponds and to the gazebos. So unlike traditional developments where the ponds generally just serve a retention purpose and just serve as an amenity to the people that own lots backing up to them, these lakes serve as an amenity to the entire development. Have I covered all the amenities, Jose?
The fire
station.
Fire. We've committed to right on 22, I think that would be called the north side of the property. The north side of the property closest to Interstate 10, we've committed to supplying a sufficient piece of land and a slab and the building for a 2-bay auxiliary fire station. And we have tentatively committed to making sure that there's sufficient room to expand that to a 4-bay auxiliary fire station, because the fire chief expressed a need, a recognition of a need to probably have to expand that in the not too distant future.
What acreage is that lot?
It's a third of an acre, a half an acre type requirement. We have access to one of the Sheikh Snyder family heirs' property on Highway 22 that we're working out the details on, and it's about a 2-acre tract, I guess it is, a 2-acre tract of land that we would utilize for that purpose. The fire department also asked that we build a service road out of the rear of the auxiliary fire station, allowing them quicker access into the development, and we've agreed to do that. That service road will serve as another asset or function. There's a beautiful lot that we're building our entrance on that's covered with live oak trees. We're going to use porous concrete very carefully to build the entrance around those live oak trees to preserve and protect them. And therefore, the road that we're going to use on the lot by the fire station will serve as our construction entrance. We won't have construction entering through our main entrance where the live oaks are. We'll make every effort to save every one of those trees in that lot. Anything else? We're unable to put a turning lane because we don't own the property. It's a state highway, and the other families own the lots that would require additional acreage.
Mr., you do not have to address
Oh,
any of the audience.
thank you.
You address the council.
Thank you, sir.
Anyone else got any questions? Ms. Stroud?
We talked about earlier additional recreational facilities, like a swing set or something for
Yes.
kids.
We've actually incorporated a substantial playground area.
Okay.
And it's not just an area where we're setting aside land for play. We're going to build a substantial playground for the children in that community.
Okay.
All right. Mr. Lance Brock. Now, explain to the council how we're guaranteed that that this development is going to get those amenities. I mean,
Yes, sir.
explain to us.
There will be a contract, and there will be a planned unit development. It's planned, and they'll have to, by law, by this ordinance, what they say they're going to do, they're going to have to do. And if it changes ownership, then that person still has to continue on with it.
Okay. All right. Ms. Stroud?
At what point do you look at timelines
There are timelines in there. It's
for
submitted.
all the amenities?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. For everything, yes, ma'am.
All right. Mr. Todd Lambert.
I got a question for Mr. Brock. The time this process took place in the meetings at the Planning Commission and everything, did we have any opposition on this project? None whatsoever. From industry, no one. Okay.
Mr. Byrick.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, with some of the concerns of the council members and some of the amenities the developer has introduced, I think it'd be easier. I'll go ahead and withdraw my motion, and after withdrawing my motion, I'd like to make a new motion accepting the developer's amenities into the development, so it'll be in the record. And then I think Mr. Brock says at a later date, he'll come back with a signed paper to introduce to the council with these actual amenities in it.
I got one question.
All right. Let's hear from Mr. Hillensbeck first. I'll come back to you, Mr. Byrick.
Well, there's a motion on the floor, Mr.
Second.
Chairman.
Discussion.
We're on discussion.
Okay, now who actually owns this property being developed? Because the comment made earlier, I just want, who owns this property?
We do. We bought,
Who is we?
The company's called Renaissance Development, Orange Grove Development, LLC.
Okay, so this is no longer Sheck Snyder property?
Absolutely not. We're
I
paid
just
in
want
full.
to clarify that.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right. We've got a motion to rescind your previous motion, correct?
I just rescinded and then made a new motion.
All right. State your new motion.
My new motion is to accept the developer's amenities that he just discussed, and I think Mr. Brock says it's in order that after that, he'll come back with a petition or whatever a written petition to accept it.
Okay. And a second by Ms. Stroud. All right. Ms. Fontenot.
As I understand, Lance, all we're doing tonight is accepting the conceptual plan. And we've made some amendments to that. So we'll come back and deal with this in a more legal form. Is that correct?
I know the way that's set up is that this is a conceptual plan, which is his concept of the whole thing. He stated that he would approve the conditions that Mr. Barringer stated, and that he would have to come back with those revisions to you.
In a contract or some sort.
Yes, ma'am, and those revisions.
And that would make that
Yes,
fine.
that's correct, yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any further discussion?
Just one comment, Mr. Chairman. I don't know Mr.
President.
Menville. We met briefly the other day. I did check with another parish where his company has done development, and I was told by those people that they mean what they say and they say what they mean. So that's all I know about this. Thank you. And I did express to him my concerns when he called me the other day about the proximity to the chemical plants. We had GIS draw up the maps, and I think DuPont was 2.5 miles from the processing unit, and I think Ormet was 4.5 or 4.2 or something, and then Motiva was, I think, 4.5. So,
Good distance.
thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any further discussion? Is there any opposition to the motion? Having that motion passes. Number 19, building condemnation proceedings. 3279 Garrison turnaround. Mr. Laverne Bourgeois or Mr. Richard Trotmark?
President and Chairman, Council. Laverne couldn't be here tonight, so
he sent me here. We have a condemnation proceeding on a house on Garrison turnaround. I think you have in your packet a little history behind this house. This house been with us since 1997 to be condemned through two other administrations. I've been involved with this since March of this year, and we have, as a person that goes around to these dangerous and dilapidated homes, I give owners all the opportunity in the world to try to repair, take care, or do something about these homes. I've talked with Mr. Herbert A18 on several occasions, and he has always said that he was going to repair it, fix it up, and take care of it. Since I sent this letter for him to be here tonight, he called me Tuesday saying that he was going to start tearing this house down on the 15th of September. Also, Wednesday, I think he called Mr. Guidry and told Mr. Guidry the same thing. In my conversation with Mr. Herbert, I told him that I was going to bring this before the council and that I would ask that we go ahead and ask for you to condemn this home.
Mr. Chairman, motion to proceed with condemnation.
In the event that he does do it, that's fine. But if he doesn't, we just don't have assurance that we can do it.
Got a motion by Mr. Byrick, second by Mr. Hillensbeck. Proceed. Is there any discussion? Any opposition? Having none, motion passes. Thank you. Number 20, we're going to pass on number 20 unless Mr. Thompson left word with anybody to pass this. We're going to pass on that. Number 21, resolution to substitute counsel in the Megan Bell versus Ascension Parish lawsuit. The law firm of Jones Walker, substituted by Mr. Richard Zimmerman of the firm. Ricky, help me with this firm.
Cantrell, Spade, Weaver, and Blitzer. Very simply, gentlemen, the lawyers representing this parish in that lawsuit have developed a conflict of interest. They've requested to get out. We just need a motion to substitute counsel.
Motion, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Mr. Valentine, second by Mr. Todd Lambert. Mr. Byrick. Motion by Mr. Byrick, second by Mr. Todd Lambert. Is there any discussion? Any opposition? Having none, motion passes. Number 22, Lamar Dixon resolution. Mr. Valentine.
Chairman Savoy, thank you. I have passed out to the council members around that are present tonight a letter that I received back on July the 6th. And when I received this, I also received a brochure from Hardaway Construction, which is a corporation, Hardaway Construction Company Corporation, actually, which is in Tennessee. This letter, as you see before you, deals with the Lamar Dixon Expo and the concerns. I have contacted Mr. Larry Hinchcliffe. He had made several comments. He was even on TV, I think, saying that he was trying to acquire the Lamar Dixon facility. I appreciate the parish president bringing the information dealing with the money that we are about to receive. I think that first money was the David Vitta money, and of course Senator Amade is also bringing $65,000. But even with that money, it's still not going to cover the cost, the expense of the maintenance of this facility. What I'm going to ask the council tonight is for a letter of no objection that Mr. Jackie Rome and Lamar Dixon Foundation can discuss with Mr. Hinchcliffe and any of his associates any proceedings that could involve another entity that is private that would buy Lamar Dixon and relieve the parish of our obligation. I'm going to read some of the letter. States, like I said, this is dated July the 6th, 2006. I had talked with Chairman Savoy about this letter when it first came out. He asked me if I would hold out until, we had some type of plan maybe from administration. And as the time lingers on, Mr. Hinchcliffe asked me if I could get this okay. I do not know Mr. Hinchcliffe personally. I've met him on several occasions, but he has brought me a letter stating that he has funds available and would like to enter into negotiations. And it states that he wanted to express his appreciation for those who helped and others that have given continued support on his behalf. About a week ago, you called me. He's talking about me, and I inquired if you were still in position to purchase a Lamar Dixon Expo Center. His response was yes. He told me that Mr. Jackie Rome asked Chairman Jackie Rome, the chairman of the Lamar Dixon Foundation, he was asked by Mr. Rome to sit on the sidelines while the Lamar Dixon Foundation worked out all the terms and leases with the Parish of Ascension. So that has taken place. He says that in the event that the parish continues to lease the expo, the chances of having enough available funds to purchase Lamar Dixon, which is $7.5 million, is very unlikely. And this is his statements. The development and growth of the Expo Center can only come with the sale of raw land, which would be added to the burden of the parish. He goes on to say that from the first time we met, made an offer to Lamar Dixon Foundation, it had been our intent to follow Mary Lee Dixon's mission to further the growth and to help the younger generation, to help expand the 4-H program, and to use the equestrian facility. We also intend to develop the remaining raw land with a mini version of Opera Land that is located in Nashville, Tennessee. This development will consist of 1,000 to 1,500 room hotel, restaurants, office space, shops, museums such as jazz, country, western, gospel, rhythm and blues, as well as a NASCAR museum. In addition, there will be a major financial center with many potential business ventures. He goes on to talk about the impact, the jobs, and he said he looks forward to having the opportunity to proceed with our development and be part of the parish, a great parish of Ascension, and help the parish council in a manner which would in order to help your growth. Because we work together, it's a win for the parish, it's a win for us. Most of all, it's a big win for the people. Once again, he states in this letter, which I looked at the lease and I really didn't find it in the lease, but he states in here that Mr. Rome says that he cannot legally discuss anything with us while your position is still under contract. So he needs permission to do so. And that's essentially why he sent us this letter. Doesn't mean by any stretch of imagination that they can come to an agreement. He put on an enclosure, which I have here, and he makes a statement that I have included a color presentation of jobs completed by Hardaway Construction of Nashville, Tennessee, which will be our developing partner. And I have here for any of the councilmen to see some of the things that they did in Nashville, Tennessee, and one of the things they did was the Grand Ole Opry. So obviously this construction company is a viable entity that or private entity that is in partner with this gentleman. I simply want to make a motion, and I'll make it now, that this council sends a letter of no objection to Jackie Rome and Lamar Dixon Foundation, enabling him to negotiate with Larry Hinchcliffe and Associates. And I would appreciate if the chairman of the council sign it. That's my motion.
I'll second it.
Got a motion by Mr. Valentine, second by Ms. Fontenot. Any questions? Mr. Hillensdale.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have two members of the Lamar Dixon Committee absent tonight, Mr. McConnell and Mr. Thompson, and Mr. Schexnayder and Mr. McConnell are absent tonight. Tonight is the first time I've seen this letter. I think it would be appropriate that we use the committee process, which we put in place, and I would like to offer a substitute motion that we send this letter to the Lamar Dixon Committee for consideration, and let's discuss it there, and let's have all members present of the committee, and let's act on it in committee and come back with it from there. That's a substitute motion.
Substitute motion to send it to the Lamar Dixon Committee.
I will second that.
Got a second by Mr. Jensen Lambert. Any opposition? Is there any discussion on the?
Discussion.
Mr. Valentine?
I mean, no ill intentions on doing this.
Hey,
This
me either,
has
George.
no idea. But let's talk about the Lamar Dixon committee. Which committee are we talking about?
Council members.
Councilmember committee? I don't really see an opinion that really, I don't understand why we need to discuss it in committee. It's simply an avenue that Mr. Rome and Lamar Dixon Foundation can take. We are in the second year of a 2-year lease. We all run next year. Parish president has to run. When we all took office, this wasn't the issue. We sat around here and voted to send this to the people for a tax, to sustain it. I don't know of a government anywhere in this world except the ones that's got oil wells that make money. Now, I will agree that this is a fabulous facility. But then on the other hand, we have a lot of other needs that are here. And if someone can come in, create jobs, start paying taxes on the land, and creating other economic development along with the new Cabela's that came in, I see no reason why this council, the members that are here, can vote to send it to Mr. Rome to give him the okay to discuss this. It doesn't mean that he's going to cut a deal or agree to it, but it's going to give him the option to do that. This gentleman is saying he don't have it. So I would strongly urge the council not to delay this. Time is of essence, and we need to allow this gentleman to discuss that with Mr. Hinchcliffe.
Mr. Hildenbeck.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Mr. Valentine, I'm not disagreeing at all with your position on anything you said. It's clearly listed on the agenda as Lamar Dixon resolution. I see no resolution the night before us. I see a letter that was dropped in our laps tonight just as we sat down. And again, I think we need to follow the committee process, and let the committee look at this and bring it back. Thank you.
We're going to vote on the substitute motion.
I just have a couple of questions, Mr. Chair.
Mr. President.
Is this the same Mr. Hinchcliffe? Do you know, George, that the foundation's already sent 2 letters to a rejection?
I have not seen any letters of recommendation, and if they did that, Parish President, then he can send a third.
Yeah, they've done it twice, and they've shared. We've given that to the council. Copies of those 2 letters.
I have not seen those letters. No, sir.
Okay.
I have not.
The Lamar Dixon committee has had those. My conversation with Mr. Rome last week, he was wondering what this agenda item was all about, and he asked me if it was the same gentleman as before. And in addition, whenever this issue first became an issue, when they came to us, we went and met with the plant managers in the area concerning a theme park and this type of development, and those plant managers were very much in objection to having a theme park at that facility, and we're much more in favor of the parish doing some things there where we can limit the exposure and the encroachment. Now, obviously, we've had a lot of encroachment in our parish in these industrial zones, and what they told me is that they actually tried to stop this being built there to start with, and were unsuccessful. I don't know all the history. I think it was started in '99. But they certainly made it very plain. And we had members of the legislature there, and I think some members of the council at meeting with all the plant managers, and they made it very plain that they would significantly come out against a theme park there because of just the numbers of people. Now, not in any way saying it's not for good economic development and recreation opportunities, but they certainly, and this is the same gentleman I think I've met with before, members of the staff have, and actually before we ever signed the lease agreement, the foundation they've sent me copies. I may be mistaken. I'm pretty sure we gave it to the members of the Lamar Dixon Committee. They've actually sent me copies of 2 letters to this gentleman where they have to turn these offers down. Now, that's all I can tell you, just what they've given to me. And obviously, our efforts to develop this site have been somewhat slowed down with the hurricanes and the work we did there last summer. But all of you received just recently I think we sent to you a copy of the events scheduled for next year, and I think 32 weekends have already been booked by SMG with different events. And so I think we need to be a little careful the message we send when we have federal appropriators and state appropriators working on money to help us develop this into a quality place for our parish. And as much as we need economic development and things, I think the Cabela's project will be certainly an enhancement to what the parish would be doing there at the Lamar Dixon facility. So I just ask each one of you to really think about this. And if you'd like to talk to those plant managers, do that. And then if you want, we'll get you copies of those letters from the Lamar Dixon Foundation, which Mr. Rome is the chairman of that foundation. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Hilton.
Yeah, Mr. Savoy, I know I'm on the committee, Mr. Schechtsteiner's on the committee, Mr. Martin McConnell's on the committee, Mr. Valentine's on the committee, and I'm unsure as to the status of Mr. Thompson. But, George, I would ask that you bring this to committee, and that we also maybe invite Jackie Rome to the committee meeting itself and sit down and discuss this issue. And also, Mr. Chairman, if you haven't done so, I may have missed it. I'd like for you to check on the numbers, make sure we have a full 5 complement of members on that committee. I'm unsure of the status of maybe one of the members. So my substitute motion, I call for question on the motion.
Question on the motion.
We have to vote on it.
Is there a second? Question on the motion is to stop debate and move to vote. Or what's the wishes of the council?
I'm in favor of ending the debate, and then we'll go to the vote.
I'm not. I'd like to say something else, please.
We have to vote on the...
Call for a vote.
Call for a vote on ending the
On the
debate.
question.
Calling for a vote on the question right now.
To end debate.
All in favor of question on the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Fails. Debate continues.
Sure.
The statement I want to make is I appreciate the parish president giving us that information. We have not received, at least as a councilman, I have not received any letters saying that they denied Mr. Hinchcliffe his office. I will say, though, parish president's kind of talking out of, I'm not going to say both sides of his mouth, but unfortunately he is. Here we say, and we don't want a concentrated development, but I got an email from him bringing us up to date. And tell me if I'm wrong. You stated in that email that what you wanted to do, what you was investigating, and you stated this several times, that the quality of life issue, that we're never going to make money with it, but it's a quality of life. And your thing was that you want to look at consolidating, because you wanted some of us to make a trip up to West Feliciana?
West Feliciana, yes. We invited all of you to look.
To consolidate our recreation facilities in this parish. And if that's the case, then that means we're going to close Paula Park, Stevens Park, Butchgoa Park. So everybody's got to go play baseball at Lamar Dixon.
No, sir.
That's the way I take it.
Well, you take it, you're mistaken.
My point is, it wasn't explained to me. So I'm not really in favor of that rule. I'm not in favor of that if that's what it is. When somebody says they want to consolidate our recreation into one facility, that's what I read into that. So I appreciate everybody's comments around here. I appreciate Mr. Hillensbeck, parish president yours, but there is an urgency. These people, this letter's 2 months old. He asked me to do it. I'm doing it. I don't know nothing about it, gentlemen. It's in Mr. Rome's pocket. It's not your decision, parish president. It's this council's decision. You have a goal and you got a dream, and I appreciate that. This is a beautiful facility. I would never say it's not. It's a wonderful facility. But there again, I'm going to look after the parish's money too. We've had taxes been proposed to us and everything else. We got all these needs, and we continue to send money. We're going to have to start repairing this place. And when we start having to repair this place, it's going to really cost us money. I understand it's already we're starting to cut the grass over there. We used to not do that. Now it's on a regular routine. We're taking drainage board money from what I understand. If I'm wrong on that, somebody needs to correct me, but I'm telling you, we get drainage people cutting the grass over there. So we have a lot of expenses that are being incurred. If you look on our website, the value of Lamar Dixon, 80% of the value was with Katrina. and you know, using it for a shelter. And I appreciate that. I'm glad we got a facility we could do that. But we can't depend on Katrina money to pull us out of the hole every year. Hopefully, we won't ever have to use it again for hurricane relief. So that's all I got to say.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, no, you're mistaken, Mr. Valentine. We have had some people in the parish leagues talk to us about the possibility of consolidating recreation, because many of them have children playing, for example, t-ball at Paula Park. Same night they may have a young man playing baseball at Stevens Park and the girls playing softball at Bush Gore Park. And so I've asked Ms. Kinchin to arrange a meeting, invite the council to go look at the facility the SJB was primarily responsible for designing for the parish of West Feliciana, working with their school district. And so you've accused me of speaking out of both sides of my mouth, and you do that quite often without understanding the issue. Just stop and think for a minute. I can only assume this is what you're meaning. The number of young people we have playing ball on any given night, and let's say that the recreation office in the parish, after meeting with these leagues and having these charrettes with facilitators and community meetings, comes up with a recommendation that would be in the best interest of our parish to do that and make green space or practice parks or skateboards at these other facilities that we now have. Or they may come back and say, we recommend you sell this property to help develop something else similar to they have in Sulphur, West Feliciana, Mandeville. We have been very closed-minded at times in what's happening in the area of recreation. Many communities are going to a consolidated system both to save money for maintenance of these facilities, number of people needed to help maintain them. The cost to maintain them looks as if it could be significantly reduced if it's at one piece of property instead of scattered all over, as well as the gasoline and other expenses that our citizens incur, as well as many of them miss games because we have several, have children in all three age groups, in softball, baseball, etc. So the intent, we've asked two companies to work with us, give us a proposal on what it would cost to develop a master plan. Now, since Lamar Dixon sits basically in the center of our parish, and I would propose to you, without even, it's going to be a long process to go through this and let them have these community meetings and input from the citizens. But I would propose to you that if the result would come back, that the people would be in favor of doing something like that there. I think the probability would be a risk of exposure to our chemical plant. We'd have a lot fewer people at a ball game there on a summer night than we would with a Nashville-type theme park. And we'd have much more probability of containing that risk and being able to mitigate that risk if there is a chemical leak. And so the email inviting those of you to go see the facility up there, SJB is one of the companies and CSRS is the other company that did the preliminary work. I've asked them to give us a proposal to consider next year's budget. What would it cost to truly do a master plan to look at, you've seen the articles, with we have a group of citizens who are interested in the bicycle racing. We have a group of citizens, a lot of young people interested in skateboarding. And so we feel like we truly need a recreational master plan. What's the best way? What's the most cost-effective way? So that process is just in the initiatory stages. Obviously, it's been delayed with the storm. There's a lot of things that have been delayed. But we feel it's now time, especially when we have money coming from the federal and state level to assist us in doing this. Now, obviously, we have disagreed on this issue for a long time now, and I suppose we always will.
You're right.
And I can respect that difference, and hopefully you can respect mine. But to accuse me of speaking out of both sides of my mouth is just not true.
When you finish, I want to address that. When you, okay. And my point to that, Ronnie.
No.
Are you finished, Mr.
Yeah, let him respond. I'll respond again if we need to.
Yeah, my only response to that.
Hold up. Ms. Stroud.
You want to go ahead and respond?
No,
I'll hold
Ms.
it.
Brown.
Okay. My first comment is that I've taken a trip with another member of the council of the Recreation Committee to West Feliciana Parish. The one thing I want to say is that their population is 15,000, 10,000 of that being free individuals because the prisoners, are counted in that number. And our population is way larger than that. So to concentrate most of our recreation at one facility, I don't think that would be feasible. Second part is I hear a lot of things being new to this board or council about committee. I don't ever remember hearing anything brought before the Recreation Committee about a consolidation. And if we're going to go through committee, I definitely, as the chairperson of that committee, would like to be involved in that because it seems as if we're going in two separate directions. We were focusing on doing a master plan as well, but it did not consist of the Lamar-Dixon. So with my month and a half, 2 months left, I'd like to have that come before the committee. The third thing is with the concentration of people, whether you're having 10,000 people exposed, 15, 20,000 people exposed, if there's a problem with the plants in that area, that needs to be considered. Whether we're going to have a opera land in that area or a recreational facility. If there's some type of exposure, then we need to look at that in general. But I'd like for this to come through committee. Thank you.
Mr. Valentine.
Well, the only thing, and Ms. Stroud actually said it very eloquently, the fact that and that's what I meant, Parish President. In other words, you're making a statement that the plant managers would rather see us, the parish, have it because it's limited access, and that's why. There's no difference. I mean, if we take visitors to go there, or if we take our children in this parish and make them have baseball games there, that's my point. Personally, I'd rather see an outside entity come in and deal with it than the parish have that exposure. And you brought it up. I'm in industry. I know what the exposure is. The East Ascension graduation had a shelter in place 2 years ago at the end of their ceremony. And I do have a concern about that. And since you brought it up, that's what I meant by that. I mean, there's no difference, whether, like Mr. Stroud said, whether there's 10,000 people on that side, 1,000, or we got 3 softball games, skateboarding going on. That's our deal.
And Mr. Valentine, what I mean by that is the plants have agreed to work with us on a shelter-in-place program, and I think that's one reason they favor the parish being at that facility versus private industry where they may not have that input and so forth. So, I mean, even if just the facility stays as it is now, as you mentioned, and the shelter-in-place program was very successful. Now, I think all of us would probably agree if we'd like to have seen this facility built somewhere else, just like some of us would probably like to see Orange Grove be 5 miles from the plants. And years ago when we were young growing up in this parish, they had told us not to live within 5 miles of the plants. You may remember some of that. Now, as I understand it, industry has made many improvements and have many more fail-safe systems in place than they did 30 and 40 years ago when it first came into the parish. But this is the purpose of doing a master study and a review. And I appreciate Ms. Stroud's comments about the committee, but just remind her that we also have a parish administration department of recreation, so they need to work together on that. Ms. Kinchin, I'm sure, will be talking to her. And it may very well be that they come back and say, yeah, we consolidate this at Bush Gore Park, we buy more land there. And that's the process that has to be going through. And it may very well be they say you don't. But when you have league officials come in and talk to us about some of the problems they're having with having to go to 3 different ballparks on the same evening, and those of us who have had youth play and can relate to that back in our day. And a community like Lake Charles and Sulphur has built a beautiful facility. And I haven't seen the one in St. Francisville, but Cheryl and Tamika, I understand, have. I think we have to open ourselves up to new possibilities and new ideas on this and look at it. It's just parish grows to 150, 200,000 people. And the cost of transportation and these other issues I think we need to look at. And also the cost of maintaining the facility. Right now, one of our biggest expenses is insurance and maintenance costs, janitorial service, because we're scattered all over parish government. we have a real need, I'll say again, to consolidate that. In the long run, it will help eliminate cost and reduce expenses. And so we need to look at that all as part of this process, not just recreation, but parish government. Neither one of our courthouses is adequate now to meet our present need, much less the need 10, 15, 20 years from now from a parish government perspective. The register of voters, the clerk of court, the law enforcement, all of them are in need of space. The assessor's office, they talk to me regularly about needing more space. So as we look at parish government going forward, I submit to you that we need to look at a master plan that considers all of those components of our parish and the anticipated growth that we're going to experience. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman.
I did have the pleasure of accompanying Ms. Tamika and others, including our Director of Recreation, Cheryl Kinchin, to St. Francisville to look at their consolidated park. And Ms. Tamika is exactly right. It's a small community. It's a relatively small park. I raised 5 boys that I tramped all over Ascension Parish, played ball with. So I fully appreciate the fact that we need to consolidate parks. But what we need to have is the same sort of park that they have in St. Francisville all over the parish. I can't possibly, as a mom, see myself at 4:30 in the afternoon having to go in the traffic all the way across town to play ball. We need them in the communities. We need parks in the communities where the girls, the young boys, and the adult and the older boys play ball in the same vicinity. So when it gets down to this kind of stuff, I agree that we need some consolidated parks, but we need many small consolidated parks, not one large one. I don't care if it's at Lamar Dixon or if it's at the SPI Park in Santamon. It doesn't make any difference. If you got to leave your home and travel through the traffic to get there, it's a moot point. So that doesn't hold water. I disagree with the putting things at the park right over there when you just got through saying that if you put opera land or something else over there at Lamar Dixon, it was going to have a conflict, and then you come right back and say, we're going to put our children there. I agree with Mr. Valentine. That's not the place for them.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. The plants, they base their existence and their presence. A big factor is their risk analysis. The liability or the exposure becomes too great. Plants could, in the future, possibly move future expansions or even move present operations to other states. And that's not something I want to see. I don't want to see a loss of jobs. And I just prefer that we stay on the course that we're on with, the parish maintaining and running, operating, hopefully one day purchasing Lamar Dixon, because I think it's a buy, and it's going to be it's a great buy now, and it's going to be even more important in 20 years when you have 130,000 people here or more.
I'm going to need some help as far as where I'm at, because I lost where I'm at.
Substitute motion
on the substitute.
Got a substitute motion.
And again,
The substitute motion has been voted on and failed.
No. We voted on a question to end the debate.
Okay. We will vote on the substitute motion to send the letter
This
of
to
opposition
committee,
to
like
committee.
everything else we do. It needs to
committee.
go to committee.
Is there any opposition?
I oppose.
I oppose.
The measure fails. You got that, Ms.? Or do we need a roll call, Ms.?
I like a roll call.
Roll call.
Excuse me, Parish President, you can't call for roll call, but we'll call for one.
I'll call for it then.
But we'll call for one.
We're going to call for roll call. Ms. Suzanne.
Opposed?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
No.
No.
No, ma'am.
Substitute motion fails. We move to the original motion. Is there any opposition to the original motion?
I object.
Two objections, Mr. Hillensbeck and Mr. Dempsey Lambert.
And just one
Motion
comment.
passes.
Just one comment,
No
Mr.
comment.
Yeah, okay.
Number 23.
We follow procedure when it's convenient.
Yes, we do.
Just like lighting districts that don't go through committees, Mr. Hillsback.
Point of order. Moving on to number 23. Introduction of an ordinance. To provide for the protection of flooding for all purposes in the parish of Ascension by minimizing the increase in water surface elevations and or profiles caused by the private development of any property in Ascension Parish. Mr. Babin, we don't need to read this, correct? No, sir. All right, before we vote on it, I have someone in the audience wishing to speak on this agenda item. Ms. Catherine Goppert.
Thank you. My comments have been compiled from many other citizens in the parish in discussions, those who have attended the committee meetings. Managing growth, we all know it needs to be done. More rules will not ensure that property will be protected. Regulations are worthless if not enforced. Judging from our present problems, current policies have not been consistently applied. The administration has hired an engineer as a reviewing agent who was president last year of the Baton Rouge Growth Coalition, a large organized group of developers. Mr. Michael Sanji worked with and for developers. He and Mr. Charles Landry, the attorney who brought us PUDs, SPUDs, and MUDs, works for the same company. Citizens of Ascension Parish connect the dots. Who is representing the interests of the homeowners? Mr. Sanji is the engineer responsible for drafting this drainage ordinance. In some cases, this proposal requires less than the present policy used by the Planning and Zoning Department. Many of the comments made by the DPW personnel who do the permitting work, committee members, and residents are not reflected in the final draft you were given. Why were these ignored? Definitions in the original draft were also left out. Why? This ordinance applies to, quote, any man-made change to improved or unimproved real estate, including but not limited to buildings or other structures, mining, dredging, filling, grading, paving, excavation or drilling operations, or storage of equipment or materials, end quote. Who will be affected? All property owners in Ascension. Citizens' concerns include widespread use of retention ponds, which have proven in the past to be ineffective due to lack of maintenance, are a liability, and breed mosquitoes. 2, all new development will be required to tie into an enclosed storm drainage system. The methane gas with this design can cause explosions. 3, slopes greater than 4:1 will be difficult for property owners to maintain. That will require the parish to do the maintenance. 4, rules for fill will adversely affect those who haul dirt, the availability of fill for those building homes, and will increase costs. 5, are benchmarks and flood levels needed for design criteria available from DPW? I have not been able to obtain them as of yet. 6, waivers, deviations, and allowing for minimal increases in water level provide loopholes. This ordinance does need some amending if you choose to adopt it in 2 weeks. It is impractical in places, inconsistent, lacks enforcement, creates bureaucratic red tape, increases the cost of doing business for builders, homeowners, and governments, but it does provide job security for professional engineers. Many of the concepts may give citizens the feeling that something is being done, but in reality may cause more problems than it solves. I believe this ordinance, as written, will have a negative economic impact. You have 2 weeks to consider changes. I'm going to hand you the definitions that have been left out, and also the current drainage policy, so that you can compare it with the ordinance that you've been given and see that what we have in place is actually better than what you're being given. Thank you.
let's make a motion, make a motion to introduce it, then we can discuss it. Do I hear a motion to introduce it?
I make a motion to introduce it.
Motion by Mr. Tyler Lambert.
Second.
Second by Mr. Valentine. Discussion. Mr. Hillensbeck.
I just had a question. What is a MUDs? I remember we passed PUDs, SPUDs, and TNDs, or TNTs, Traditional Neighborhood Developments. I don't remember a MUDs.
Brown dirt with water.
George, that's yours.
PUDs, SPUDs, and MUDs. Okay, thank you. Just curious.
Is there any opposition to the motion? Having none.
I object.
One objection, Mr. Bowrigger. Motion passes. Number 24, public hearing to consider an ordinance revoking a 15-foot drainage servitude shown on the tract of land designated as Lot C1A1 as shown on the map entitled Property Boundary Survey of the subdivision of tract C2 and C1A of the Charles Babin property into tract C1A1 and C1A2 situated in the northeast quarter of Section 23, Township 9 South, Range 3 East, south east of the Mississippi River. Mr. Babin.
Charles Babbitt is not related to me. To revoke a 15-foot drainage servitude shown on the tract of land designated as Lot C1A1 as shown on the map entitled Property Boundary Survey of the subdivision of tract C2 and C1A of the Charles Babin property into tract C1A1 and tract C1A2, situated in northeast quarter of Section 23, Township 9 South, Range 3 East, Southeastern Land District, east of the Mississippi River, Ascension Parish, Louisiana. Be it ordained by the Ascension Parish Council as governing authority for and in the Parish of Ascension, State of Louisiana, in lawful session, hereby revokes that portion of the drainage servitude designated as 15-foot located on C1A1, shown on the aforementioned map prepared by W.J. Quintamon Surveyor. Tract C1A1 being a portion of the Charles Babin property located at northeast quarter of Section 23, Township 9 South, Range 3 East, Southeastern District, east of the Mississippi River, Ascension Parish, Louisiana. All other servitudes affecting said property are reserved.
Motion to open a public hearing, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Bowrigger, second by Mr. Todd Lambert to open public hearing. Is there any opposition? Having none, motion passes. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak on this public hearing?
Motion to close, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Bowrigger, second by Ms. Fontenot to close the public hearing. I'm sorry, Ms. Stroud. Is there any opposition? Having none, motion passes. Number 25, the ordinance.
Move the ordinance, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Bowrigger, second by Mr. Todd Lambert. Is there any discussion? Is there any opposition? Having none, motion passes. Number 26, public hearing to consider an ordinance revoking the public servitude shown on the certain tract or parcel of land designated as Lot 3A, as shown on the map entitled Map Showing the Survey of Lot 3A, Duplessis Place, located in Section 18, Township 9 South, Range 3 East, SELD, Parish of Ascension, Louisiana, for Marshall Higgins. Mr. Babin.
To revoke the public servitude shown on that certain tract of parcel of land designated as Lot 3A, as shown on the map entitled Map Showing the Survey of Lot 3A, Duplessis Place, located in Section 18, Township 9 South, Range 3 East, Southeastern Land District, Parish of Ascension, for Marshall Higgins. Be it ordained by the Ascension Parish Council as the governing authority for the Parish of Ascension, State of Louisiana, in lawful session, hereby revokes that public servitude designated as existing 15-foot servitude to be revoked as shown on the map of survey entitled Map Showing Survey and Re-Subdivision of Lot 3A, Duplessis Place, located in Section 18, Township 9 South, Range 3 East, Southeastern Land District, Parish of Ascension, Louisiana, for Marshall Higgins, prepared by W.R.L. Bennett, Registered Professional Land Surveyor. All other public servitudes which may be affected are hereby reserved.
Motion to open the public hearing, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Mr. Bowrigger, second by Mr. Hillensbeck to open public hearing. Is there any opposition? Having none, motion passes. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak on this public hearing?
Motion to close, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Bowrigger, second by Mr. Todd Lambert, close the public hearing. Is there any opposition? Having none, motion passes.
Move the ordinance.
Number 27, the ordinance itself.
Move the
Motion
ordinance,
by
Mr. Chairman.
Hillensbeck, second by Mr. Bowrigger. You got that, Ms. Suzanne? Motion by Mr. Hillensbeck, second by Mr. Barriger on item number 27. Is there any opposition to the motion? Having none, motion passes. Number 28, public hearing to consider an ordinance amending the personnel manual of Ascension Parish government. Mr. Babin.
To amend,
Excuse me, Mr. Babin, make sure you have the right one, the one that Ricky had handed out just before the meeting.
identical language that was in the previous one, they're just some strikeouts that through committee and of this council, y'all have agreed to. Final version, the genuine version, reads as follows. To amend the personnel manual of Ascension Parish government, whereas the Ascension Parish Council moves to replace the last sentence of the first paragraph, section 3, employee compensation, wage, and salary administration, E, overtime compensation, which begins exempt employees in the administration, professional, and supervisory categories. Whereas the Ascension Parish Council moves to replace the last sentence of the first paragraph of section 3, employee compensation, wage, and salary administration, E, overtime compensation as follows. Exempt employees in the supervisory categories as defined by the Fair Labor Standards Act, called out to actually supervise the work crew, shall receive a minimum of 4 hours straight time pay and straight time pay for all hours worked during the call out. Whereas the Ascension Parish Council moves to replace section 3, employee compensation, wage, and salary administration, H, disaster pay, for exempt employees, which begins on occasions when exempt employees are required. Whereas the Ascension Parish Council moves to replace Section 3, employee compensation, wage, salary, administration, H, disaster pay for exempt employee as follows. On occasions when exempt employees are required by the department head to work beyond 40 hours in a work week due to non-routine overtime, they shall be eligible to be compensated in addition to their normal salary. This non-routine overtime must be the result of catastrophic events related to a state of emergency or other disaster as authorized by parish president. Overtime incurred by the result of routine operations, errors in planning, or result of non-compulsory overtime is not compensable for exempt employees. Exempt employees in the supervisory categories called out to supervise the work crew at this time shall receive a minimum of 4 hours of pay at a rate of 1.5 for all hours worked beyond the routine hours during the payroll week, and employees effectively hour rate of pay. Employees who are eligible for this overtime will be required to complete a timesheet listing hours worked authorized by their department head. Disaster pay overtime calculations will be at time of 1.5 hours worked over 40 hours in a payroll week in which the disaster pay is authorized at the employer's effective hourly rate of pay. Be it ordained, the Ascension Parish Council's governing authority in and for the parish of Ascension does hereby authorize the above amendment to the personnel policy manual of the Ascension Parish government.
Motion to open the public hearing, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Barriger, second by Mr. Dempsey Lambert, open the public hearing. Is there any opposition? Having none, motion passes. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak on this public hearing?
Motion to close, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Mr. Barriger to close the public hearing. Second by Mr. Todd Lambert. Is there any opposition? Having none, motion passes.
Move on ordinance.
Second.
Second.
Number 29, the ordinance. Motion by Mr. Valentine, second by Mr. Barriger. Is there any opposition to the motion? Having none, motion passes. Number 30, public hearing to consider an ordinance creating the Orange Grove Community Development District within the Parish of Ascension. Mr. Ron Minville and Tony Bull. Or Mr. Jim Ryan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the council, Mr. President. Jim Ryan with Governmental Consultants. This is an ordinance that we came to you several months ago and came to
Transportation.
thank you, Ms. Font. Transportation and also to utilities to the committee. It was reviewed by the committees. It was placed on the agenda, I think, 6 weeks ago, something like that. It's simply an ordinance to create a district, much like an industrial development district. It allows the developer a financing mechanism to finance its infrastructure on a tax-exempt basis. As we told you all at committee, it does not cost the parish a dime. It does not obligate the parish anything. The parish does not forego any sales taxes, any millage taxes, any other revenue. It's simply a low-cost financing mechanism for the developer to be able to finance his infrastructural improvements like you all finance your infrastructure improvements. This is what has been done, I believe Mr. President alluded to earlier up in Livingston Parish with Carter Plantation, Greystone Golf and Country Club, Whispering Springs, Juban Park, et cetera, et cetera. Pretty much it.
Mr. Chairman, do we need to read it, or can we move on?
Need to read it.
Mr. Babbitt, you gonna read it, or? I don't think Mr. Ryan can read, so you better read.
He can read. The following ordinance was offered by and seconded by ordinance, an ordinance creating Orange Grove Community Development District within the Parish of Ascension, State of Louisiana, and further describing the boundaries thereof, and further appointing the Board of Supervisors consisting of 5 members to govern and manage said Community Development District, and providing for certain other related matters in compliance with Chapter 27D, Title 33, Louisiana Revised Statutes 1950, as amended, Louisiana Revised Statute 33:9039.11 and 33:9039.37 inclusive. Whereas in accordance with the provisions of Chapter 27B of Title 33 of the Louisiana Revised Statutes of 1950 as amended, specifically Louisiana Revised Statute 33:9039.11 through 9039.37 inclusive, the Act, the Parish of Ascension, State of Louisiana, the Parish, is authorized and empowered to establish and create community development districts within unincorporated boundaries of the parish. And whereas pursuant to the requirements of Section 9039.14 of the Act, Renaissance Orange Grove LLC, a limited liability company organized and existing under the laws of the State of Louisiana, petitioner has submitted a petition to this council containing information required for the aforesaid statute and requesting that the parish council hold public hearings as required by 9039.14 of the Act to consider the creation and establishment of the Orange Grove Community Development District and adopt an ordinance required for the aforesaid statute creating and establishing the aforesaid district. Whereas in accordance with the requirements of Section 9039.14 of the Act, this council issued and was published a notice of public hearing in the Gonzales Weekly, a newspaper of general circulation, in the official journal and the official journal of the Parish Council, was published on August 11th, August 18th, August 25th, and September 1st, 2006, to notify the citizens and property owners of the parish to petition and create and establish a district, the complete copy of which is attached hereto as Exhibit A. Whereas pursuant to the notice in compliance with the requirements of the Act, the public hearing to consider the creation and establishment of the district was duly convened and held by the Parish Council on Thursday, September 7th, 2006, at which time the information concerning the proposed district, together with comments, questions, or objections related thereto, was presented and considered by the Parish Council, all in accordance with the requirements of Section 9039.14b of the Act. Whereas, based on the information contained in the petition as well as the record of the public hearing and all other such factors as deemed relevant by this Parish Council, thereby finds and determines the requirements of the Act have been satisfied, that a petition requesting, creating, and establishing the district is hereby approved and authorized. Be it ordained that Ascension Parish Council, acting as the governing authority of the parish, as follows. Number 1, creation of the district boundaries. In accordance with provisions of the Act, there is hereby created and established a community development district within the parish. The district shall comprise and include all property situated in the boundaries shown in attached Exhibit B. Section 2, name, status, powers. The aforementioned community development district shall be known and designated as Orange Grove Community Development District, Parish of Ascension, State of Louisiana. And as thus created and established, said district shall constitute a special district as provided by Article 6, Section 19 of the Constitution of the State of Louisiana of 1974 as amended, and shall have all the powers granted by the Constitution, the Act, and other laws of the state. Board of Supervisors, general provisions. In accordance with the provisions of the Act, particularly 9039.15, the district shall be governed and managed by a Board of Supervisors consisting of 5 members. The following persons are hereby appointed as the initial members of the Supervisory Board: Dana Rushing, Tony Bull, Tim Klein-Peter, Sharon Cassio, and Vicki Finch. Each initial member of the Supervisory Board shall serve a term of 4 years and until a successor is chosen and qualifies. Each of the initial members of the Board is a resident of the State of Louisiana, and 1 member, Sharon Cassio, is a resident in the area immediately adjacent to the district. Prior to the end of the 6th year following the appointment of the initial members of the Supervisory Board, any reappointments to the Supervisory Board shall be made by petitioner subject to approval of the Parish Council or in as such manner as provided by the Act. Commencing at the end of the 6th year following the appointment of the initial members of the Supervisory Board, the position of each member of the Supervisory Board whose term has expired shall be filled by a qualified elector residing in the district, who shall be elected by the qualified electors of the district in accordance with the provisions of Title 18 Louisiana Revised Statutes 1950 as amended. Registered office of the district shall be 41126 C.J. Courtney Road, Gonzales, Louisiana, which is located in the parish, which the territorial boundaries of the district are located. A copy of this ordinance shall be published in Gonzales Weekly, the official journal for the parish. The ordinance herein submitted to a vote of the parish council.
Motion to open the public hearing, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Mr. Byrigger to open the public hearing.
Second.
Second by Ms. Strout. Is there any opposition? Having none, motion passes. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak on this public hearing?
Motion to close, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Byrigger, second by Mr. Todd Lambert to close the public hearing. Is there any opposition? Having none, motion passes. Number 31, the ordinance itself.
Move the ordinance, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Mr. Byrigger,
Second.
second by Ms. Strout. Is there any discussion? Question, Mr. Todd Lambert.
Yeah, Mr. Jim, you had said tax exempt, then you came back and said it wouldn't affect sales tax and property tax. Could you explain that to me?
When I say tax exempt, I mean that the developer gets to borrow money for the infrastructure on a tax exempt basis, much like a government does. So when they borrow, their cost of borrowing is a little bit lower. And tax exempt means that the people that lend them the money don't have to pay federal income taxes, or if they're Louisiana residents, state income taxes on the interest that the developer pays them back. Tax exempt, much like a municipal bond, which is governed by the Internal Revenue Service and the Securities and Exchange Commission.
Thank you.
Sure.
Any further discussion? Is there any opposition to the motion? Having none, motion passes. Number 32, executive session, according to revised statute 42-6, number 4, investigative proceedings and the allegations of misconduct. Do I hear a motion to go into executive session?
Mr. Savoy.
Mr. Valentine.
I make a motion that we go into executive session. Would like Mr. Heisel, Parish President, Roy Katz, and Richard Brown to attend. And this is allegations of misconduct with regards to recent resignation of a director and allegations of sexual harassment.
Second. Motion by Mr. Valentine, second by Mr. Todd Lambert. Is there any opposition? Having none, motion passes. We'll convene an executive session. Do I have a
Motion to go back into regular session.
motion by Mr. Dillon, reconvene, second by
Second.
second by Mr. Dempsey Lambert.
Do we have a quorum?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, okay.
Executive session was held to investigate the allegation of misconduct as to the procedures employed to investigate a possible violation of the personnel policy manual. No violation was found, and the matter is closed.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Mr. Hillenbeck, adjourned. Second by
Second.
Mr. Valentine. Any opposition? Having the motion closed. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.